you know, first and foremost, just really want to really to thank all the fans that came out. I mean, it actually felt like a college basketball game. It actually, in the last 9 months, we haven't seen a lot of normal, felt a lot of normal, but tonight, I mean, it just felt really good. Now it hurts to lose, but to see people in the stands, to see people, screaming, booing, just the energy and emotion, it's just something that's it's really been missing, and it's I'm just thankful for them, and hopefully we'll get a really good crowd back here on Saturday because this team, I mean, they're young and they're at times they make a few more mistakes than I probably would like, and keep me up at night thinking about what some of the things that we do, but at the same time too, I do sleep at night knowing that we have a great young nucleus of players and guys that they're trying to do all the right things. But in the case of tonight, we made a few too many just little mistakes throughout the course of the game, and it doesn't ever come down to one shot. Now we had a shot to win it, but just our as I go back to saying a million times, and just the discipline that you need to beat good teams. And I thought we did a really good job of defending the three-point line, and some of the threes that they made, especially the one late. I mean, those are threes that we don't give up. I mean, those are the threes that you can't give up. But we'll go back, we'll learn from it. But I thought the effort was really good, especially bouncing back from San Diego State. It took us a little while to kind of get our energy back from that trip, but I thought tonight the guys really came out and really represented the state of Wyoming. I mean, that, as I'd said, hey, these guys, regardless of what happens, the fans better see a team that's Cowboy tough, a team that's gonna operate in the dirt and the mud, and a team that's gonna fight to the end. And we saw that tonight. And hopefully, I said, we'll get back everybody on Saturday and get another crack at CSU. Cody.
Earlier in the week, you kind of, I don't know how to put this, kind of downplayed the border war because you were talking about COVID and the youth on this team and whatnot. But you got your first taste of it tonight. There was those fans in the crowd. What was that like for you in your first border war?
No, it was, like I said, it was great to be back to some semblance of normal, and to have that's the beauty of the University of Wyoming. The one thing about the University of Wyoming, it's the one school in the state, and if you put the right product on the floor, I mean, they will come out. And not sure if that's the case down south. There's a lot of things to do down south, and good team like them, I'm not sure how many people they would have in their gym, but I do know this, that if you play the right way, the people will come out, and so it was really good to see them come out. Now they just have to see us play a little bit better defensively. I mean, you can't to still have a chance to win that game, and for them to shoot 60% in the second half and shoot 55% for the game, it's just not good enough. Michael.
Jeff, can you just kind of take us through those last couple of possessions where Marcus makes that three and then they take it down the other end? Maldo seemed particularly upset that it always sucks to lose, but to lose on a layup, it sounded like he was really bummed about that.
Yeah, and it's it was those things happen quickly. We didn't have any timeouts. I'm not sure if they had any timeouts, and so after Marcus made the three, which the beauty of him is he's not scared of the moment. He wanted the ball and made a big shot. And then give credit to them. I mean, Moore gets the ball, and knowing in that situation, guys don't want to be the guy that fouls somebody and puts a guy at the foul line, and lo and behold, they go in there and lay it in. Now, I wish we would have made it a little bit more difficult, but it is what it is. And then, the last 5 seconds there, you got to find a way to get the ball in Marcus's hands. After he just made a shot like that, his pace getting the ball up the floor, but we still got a good look with Quan there, and it's a make or miss game, and give them credit for making the shot, and we didn't. Cody.
Jeff, it seemed the game plan tonight was to put Maldo on Roddy, and Dussel did a heck of a job on Stevens. What can you say about those guys and the effort they put out on the defensive end tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I thought in terms of the effort that we had on Stevens, and that, I mean, he's a first-team all-league guy, and he's a guy that if you can't get through the ball screens and you can't stay attached to him, he'll cause a lot of problems. And then I thought, collectively, I mean, with Maldo on Roddy, and I thought Graham Ike did a tremendous job there down the stretch, just being strong enough to where he doesn't get bullied. I mean, Roddy bullies a lot of guys, which rightfully so. But I thought our guys did a good job of kind of holding their ground, especially Graham. And then, except for really the last possession. Now we had a couple in the first half where we got lost in transition, but I thought we did a good job on Thistlewood because he's the X factor in terms of when he's making a bunch of threes. I mean, they become really, really hard to guard. But I thought those guys did a good job on those guys. But give credit, Tanji stepped up and some of the other guys stepped up and made plays. Davis.
Overall, Jeff, they shoot 61% in the second half. I mean, you just keep telling your guys that you guys aren't going to beat many teams when they shoot 61% and 55% for the game.
I mean, that's without stating the obvious. I mean, it's not like we're trying to let them shoot 60%. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to try to make them miss, and that's an area of major concern. But that's the reality. I mean, I go read the story in The Athletic about Tom Izzo and his struggles. I mean, when you kind of operate a certain way like we do, and you build habits throughout the course of the summer, the fall, every day in practice. Like for us, every possession should be a war in practice. I mean, that's what my teams look like, and that's why my teams have been really good. As much as people think I'm an offensive coach, I mean, you go back and look at my last 3 years at UNC. Defensively, we were as good as anybody. And it's the same deal, but we just haven't had the ability because of COVID, because of all this stuff, and the number of bodies to where we can't. It's not a war every day, every rep in practice. And until we get to the summertime, hopefully, if not the fall, and when we got more bodies, then I'll be more concerned if teams are shooting 60% this time next year. But as of right now, I mean, that's the reality. I mean, I don't know how many teams in the country are playing with basically 4 true freshmen at a time on the floor. I mean, when you got 3 true freshmen, 2 of them just turned 18 in August. I mean, you got a bunch of puppies. So, I mean, that's just part of being young. And Quan and some of those older guys, I mean, they got to learn and get better. But, I mean, it's obviously it's not something that we want to do. I mean, if we could force a team to shoot under 50% the way our offense is, I mean, probably wouldn't lose very many games. But right now, it's not good enough. But we just got to keep trying to get better. Michael.
Maldo's not one to talk a bunch about himself, but he passed the 1,000 point mark tonight. I know you haven't had him his whole time here, but just what has he meant to this program thus far, and how has he kind of helped this team grow in the time he's been here?
Yes, I mean, Maldo, I mean, as good of a player he is. I mean, he's, like I said, he's that much better of a human being, and he's that much better of a student. He's a guy that, regardless of what he does afterwards, I mean, he's going to be a great success. I mean, he'll be making a lot of money in the stock market, in the finance world, but he's a guy that, every day he shows up. He's a guy that, when we talk about that discipline that you need on the defensive end, I mean, he's that guy. I mean, he doesn't make very many mistakes on the defensive end of the floor. And so for our young guys to see that now, they got to learn from him and figure out, hey, this is kind of how you have to attack things in order to develop those habits. And a guy like him who's really smart, I mean, he can pick up things really quickly, and he's just, I mean, I'm thankful to have the opportunity to coach him. I mean, he's a guy that, he wants to be here. He wants to see things turn for the better, and we are, and we are getting better. And it's just, it's a matter of time, but it's a process, and sometimes it's a little bit slower than what people want, but we're going to be there at some point in the not distant future.